Hey guys, good afternoon, and welcome to this video. In this video, I have a very special guest,
Luke
McGuire Armstrong. Now, I don't think I told you, but I have a bunch of new viewers on my channel here.
Wow.
And
Hello
yeah.
New viewers on Erica's channel. I also put mine.
Yeah, it's just,
up here
we're
just for kicks and giggles.
Kicks and giggles?
Well, no, actually, not just for kicks and giggles, guys, because this message about something that we're both passionate about, I also want to share with you guys. I know I shared a little bit about our situation with sponsorship at the Integral Heart. So for the benefit of new viewers, we'll explain it from the beginning, what the Integral Heart is. Let me just get this comment pinned. Pin comment.
A great idea.
Boom.
Yeah, so let's start from the beginning for people who are new on the channel, or many people have already heard a lot of our stories. So if you don't know Luke is a very, very dear friend of mine, someone very important to me. And without Luke, I wouldn't be here in Guatemala. I wouldn't have written my book, Leaving America with Erica. I wouldn't have deepened my meditation practice. I wouldn't have...
I think you would have done these things.
I would have, but the universe put you in my path to be an important person in my life. And, you've taught me so much. If you guys think that I'm like a radiant person who spreads love and light in the world, then you you gotta meet Luke. One of the things that's been really inspiring...
Mick Quinn.
Oh, Mickey
on
Quinn.
this video. Wrong video,
no,
Mick.
Mickey
No,
Quinn,
go on mine, Mick. Go on Erica's. We're bringing you on that one. You're on the wrong page, Mick.
we're beaming in a really...
You're on the B team. Get to the A team.
We're beaming in a really special guest. You already said I had it. We have some very special energies on this video. We live in a world full of so much darkness and so many people who are lost in the grind of selfishness and greed and pride and jealousy and competition, all these things. And I think that's one thing I really appreciate about you and Mick, who's going to come on the video shortly, is that you really teach a way of living that is grounded in loving care and compassion for your fellow beings, and specifically with a focus on children. So you have been involved in the Integral Heart family for how many years now?
Since its beginning, 11 years ago. Mick and I used to volunteer for a charity I was working for in Guatemala, and we would, I remember the conversations when Integral Heart was being born as an idea. So I've been with them since day one, in many sense, in a lot of ways it grew from the program I was working in. So the Integral Heart is a educational program that allows kids that don't have the means to go to school. And in our education center, they then do after-school programming, which includes English, meditation, yoga, critical thinking, philosophy, math, music, homework help. So they're getting an amazing education. And 11 years now with the program, I've seen kids that have broken out of generational poverty. I've seen the next generation of their younger siblings, in the case I'm thinking of, being able to go to school not because the Integral Heart's involved, but because the children that grew up and became young adults that went through the Integral Heart are making sure that their younger siblings go to school. So that's really breaking the change. As I was looking for some photos of this, I found, so this is me when I was 13 years old on Lake Atitlan, where I now live. So I first came to Guatemala when I was 13.
How old are you now?
36. So 23 years ago, I came to Guatemala on a 2-week service building trip, building houses for poor kids, and I had no idea that my life was going to end up being based on Lake Atitlan, where remember you had to be cool, you had to have a stripe here and a stripe on your arm 23 years ago. But the photos I really want to show you guys are these ones.
Hi, Celia in the Philippines. So as Luke is pulling up these photos...
So this is something I came across in 2009. These are kids that are working as child labor victims.
Come a little bit further back. I'm going to zoom in.
In a garbage dump.
Wow. Kids in a garbage dump.
Being forced,
slave labor,
child labor. So wow. This is me then at 22. So only 9 years after when I was 13, I ended up in a job in the administration of a fairly large charity. So then this little girl, Maria, was one of these forced labor victims. And I've gotten to see them now to the end of their story. So this is her older sister, Carmen, a few years ago at the Integral Heart family in Antigua, Guatemala. And, you know, I check in with them every time I go to Antigua. You guys on my page sometimes see me doing that. So here is...
I actually just saw Tammy Clark came on the retreat in December, and we actually visited the school, and she was saying how much fun she had playing with the kids. So this school is a place where these kids are having education, they're getting safety, like emotional safety. It's a really beautiful thing that's happening, and I'm one thing I love about this story is I love how it feels like this group and this organization that we're supporting, and that's something we do here on the channel, and many of you already are supporters on the channel, and we know that we've had different fundraisers over the years, but it really feels like this story is a series of like answered prayers in a way, like even from its beginning, because this is entirely crowdfunded. I mean, can you tell a little bit about it from that perspective of like...
So the short of it is, it's an organization that's taking kids out of generational poverty, giving them all the means that they need to grow and thrive. And the lifeblood of that are our sponsors. Nick and I, in our last call, he had just run the numbers. We have 202 monthly sponsors, ranging from $10 a month to, I think our largest sponsor is only like $300 or $400 a month. So that funds a little over 50% of our organization, and we've actually lost 13 sponsors this year. So finances aren't easy for everyone, and it's, you know, gas prices are going up. We can expect possibly to lose more sponsors. So we've been doing a lot of outreach, inviting people, never expecting, but opening a door of invitation to those who feel they have the ability to, you know, starting at $10 a month, sponsor one of our kids. And 4 years ago, almost now, when I was in Dharamshala, India, in an audience with the Dalai Lama, he said something that I knew I would be always repeating in these settings. That it's when we don't have someone to serve or care for that we truly sink into our own personal misery. So in the beginning, I thought I was helping kids in Guatemala, which is what we are doing with the Integral Heart family. But what I've learned is the connections we're creating with people in the U.S., Europe, or wherever it is that are sponsoring these kids are meaningful connections, that they're bringing meaning to our own lives. I'm a monthly sponsor. Mick's
I'm
a
a
monthly
monthly sponsor.
Erica's a monthly sponsor.
I do $20 a month.
And that connection is really fundamentally important, I think, because it helps us sometimes step out of our own darkness, our own sob story, to see that our lives do have meaning and that they do have purpose. And I think we risk our deepest personal misery. It's when we're only focused on our own happiness, because if that's the whole stakes of our games, then we're not really playing a very compelling game. So, you know, this is not marketing copy. This is experience from my own life that what's helped me step out of some of my darker chapters of life haven't been focusing on myself, but stopping to focus so much on myself and to say, okay, what can I do in the world? How can I be of service? How can I make a difference? And so many areas we can do it. For whatever reason, you're listening to this message right now, us making an appeal for more monthly sponsors in the Integral Heart family, which the pin link, there you go, that Erica put, and then on my page will take you there.
Yeah, so if I can just jump in there. I see Monica. Hi, Monica. She was asking how can she get involved. I see Tracy says, yes, I will be sponsoring. So to answer that simple question, if you want to support, so that's what we're doing here today. We're coming to you guys to let you know that this organization, which helps these children here in Guatemala, your neighbors, essentially, we're in a position where we need some help. We need some help from people who are willing and able to share a little bit of their blessings with some people who are less fortunate, and share it in a way that it's really going to make a meaningful impact in the lives of these children. It's not just a handout, it's a hand up. And so if you want to be a part of this, if you not only want to help these kids, but be a part of this family, because we're doing it together, the link is posted below. It says sponsor a child, a little heart. Just click on see more. You'll see the link. It's also in the description with this post. So, you know, if it feels good for you, if you're in a place where you have the resources, where you want to do something to help, where you know that feels good in your heart, that you'd feel really good doing that from a place of generosity, not because you have to, not because you're trying to, you know, impress us or anything, but if that feels right for you, it would be amazing if you want to come aboard and be a part of the family, that we're here doing it together, and we're standing for it, and we're, you know, I think it's really cool that, I mean, these kids are so much of the reason why you're still here in Guatemala. Like Karuna exists.
Karuna's not here without these kids, because this organization, and more so in a pre-pandemic time, but we've just reopened our schools, so I will be now, when I go to Antigua, teaching again, doing different activities at the school. In the beginning, I was about once every 5 weeks, spending a week in Antigua at the Education Center teaching. My role with the organization is I'm the outreach director, so that's the fancy way of saying fundraising director.
Nobody wants to talk to the fundraising
director, so I'm the outreach director. And we are going to bring Mick on. Mick, I see you're on my... So here's the link, Kim. No problema.
Mick, did you... Oh, hi, Michelle. Good morning. Or good evening. Robin, you don't see the link. Okay, I'm going to try... Let's see... Okay. At the risk of stopping this video. If this video stops, it's because my thing does a weird... It should be fine. There we go. So, Robin, Okay, great. I had this weird episode with my videos where if I comment, then the video stops. So, hi
Mick. So, Mick, we want you to get on Erica's video, not mine.
Yeah, wait. Is it... add
viewers. So get off my page, Mick, and
Mick, get off
hop
of
over to
Luke's
Erica's page, and then we can bring you on that.
Yeah, awesome. So if we can get it to happen, we're inviting Mick onto the video so you can meet him. He's the founder, along with his wife Deborah. They are true bodhisattvas. But a bodhisattva is someone who's here to really help, and help when it's not easy to do so, help when it really means something. And you know, there's a big difference between just giving a handout to someone, you know, giving someone a fish versus teaching them to fish. So I like that. That's what we're doing.
You gotta do both.
You gotta do both.
They can't starve while they're learning to fish, so you gotta provide for them. And Joseph, who's spent a lot of time in Guatemala, while I have given single, my main efforts go towards... Yeah.
And you know, I'm seeing some people, Linda, saying, you know, you're pre-committed elsewhere, or I saw someone saying that they're already helping out where they are in Australia. Great, you know.
We got Mickey
on
here.
Oh, hi, Mick. Okay, cool. You know, don't ban him. How do we bring Mick on camera? So, you know, if you can't, that's okay. Like, help with this, you know, but do something somewhere. You know, help someone where you're at.
Where not everyone can do everything, so don't feel bad. You can't, but you open the door today. We're trying to get four sponsors because then we get back to the balance we were at the beginning of the year.
There he is. Da, da, da. Hi, Mick.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me okay? Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, it's so great. Thanks for being here. So for those of you who don't know, this fine gentleman, this is Mickey Quinn.
Mickey Quinn in the house.
He works so hard for these kids. Mickey, what do you love most about your job working with these kids?
What do I love most? I love the fact that my job is taking care of 65 kids. Like people, I personally, Deb and I, we've been married for almost, we met 18 years ago, and we found out really early in our relationship that we didn't want kids. We just didn't want to have our own kids. And then people ask me now, and they say, well, do you have kids? And they assume I'm going to say yes, or maybe I could even have grandchildren. And I go, well, I don't have my own kids, but I have 65. And I always get the same strange look from people. And that's kind of what I love the most. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, this is my work in the world, is providing for these kids. There's 65 right now. That's our latest head count this year. 46 families that we support with food baskets. The as Luke was saying there sorry, I was on the wrong channel, Luke. I was on your channel. But yeah, in a nutshell, Erica, that's it. That's it.
That's awesome. And I really love your dedication. You know, I've been here in Guatemala now a little over 2 years, and I've been at Coruna most of that time. And, you know, from very early on, I've been hearing about, you know, Luke's involvement with this work, with this charity. And then I finally got to meet you. And the more I learned, the more I'm just so impressed about how dedicated you guys are. Like it really is as if these are your own children. You're just that committed to them. And in fact,
It
that's
is.
kind of how this organization started. You were working with a different charity, and they were downsizing or something, and then you said you weren't going to let that happen, and you decided to find a way to help to
Yeah.
keep taking care of these kids. Like you weren't going to put them back on the
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, the main reason that we moved to Guatemala, the primary reason was that we wanted to help. And we didn't know how. We were like, you know, we don't have a degrees in NGO management, or we'd never volunteered before in any great way. And we moved to Guatemala, and I just picked up a local little magazine in Antigua and started going through. There was a list of NGOs or nonprofits in the back, and we got as far as C before we were completely overwhelmed with the need that we saw. And one of those organizations was where Luke was. He was the director of that organization. So essentially 12 years ago. Yeah, Luke was our boss like 12 years ago. And we started, because Deborah studied philosophy in college. I've been studying meditation, mindfulness, Buddhism since the early 90s. And we said, let's develop a course, bring this into the teenagers. And then, as you said, there wasn't downsizing. The management changed, and they wanted to replace our class with geography or history or some other you know, vein of study. And they asked us, you know, to leave. We were basically fired after 2 years of being volunteers.
I was gone.
He was gone.
Luke left.
He was gone. And the kids, like, they were teenagers, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. They were a little bit distraught because they kind of loved the class, and they said, well, what can you do? And we said, well, there's really nothing we can do. We don't have a building or a school or a curriculum besides what we've been giving you guys, you know, 3 or 4 days a week. So what we said was, give us your phone numbers. We'll figure something out. We'll call you, and we'll just do a class. And that's kind of how it all got started. It really, you know, the Inigo Heart we didn't come here with the intention of starting a foundation and like producing everything we have now. That was it all. It was all very organic. It was very beautiful, very, very organic.
I love that. It really just, it feels like you've been answering the call as it's been presented to you, with this just beautiful compassion in your heart, this like very sincere desire to want to help meaningfully, like to help other human beings, and then being presented a situation where you didn't necessarily know how it was all going to work out, but you just kept taking the next right step, and then here we are today. And so, you know, I'd love to hear from you. You know, why are these? So what is a sponsorship, and why is it so important to the organization right now?
Well, as I said in the beginning, Erica, we didn't have any experience in how to fund a nonprofit, and when we responded to the kids, and they were jubilant, they were like, "Fine, we have time, let's go." So we just borrowed space from a friend of mine who was a pastor, and he had a really big building in Antigua, and he just gave us a room. I met him riding motorcycles, and I said, "Mike, you know, we need a space." And he goes, "Oh, I have this room that I don't use on, you know, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in the afternoons. You guys can have it for free." So we're like, great. It was like a tiny room with just one door, no window. It was really hot in the summertime. And we just started teaching there, and we had a friend visit from the States, and when she was leaving, she shook my hand. And you remember in the old days, like, your grandpa would put like a $20 bill in his hand, he would shake your hand and like give you like a little secret gift. So when Kamala, I still remember her name, that was our very first donation in 2011, I think. She shook my hand, and there was something in there, and I wasn't expecting it. And she goes, "This is for the work you're doing." And I was like, Wow, I said maybe, and she gave us $100. There was no foundation. There was nothing, still nothing existed. So it was only after that we said let's start developing something. And the only way I knew, I worked in business in New York City, so I've started and run multi-million-dollar organizations. And the model that I thought was great was the old AOL model, where people would pay $24 a month for internet connection way back when the internet first came out. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. And I said, why don't we try the same thing to begin funding the foundation? So we went through the setup process, etc. And then we started with this sponsorship. So we would connect one individual in somewhere in the world with a kid here in Guatemala, one of the kids that we were working with, and say, give us, $20 a month, $35 a month. If you want to sponsor a family, it can be $55 or $75 a month. And we started that way, and it just continued. And I found out, like many, many years ago, when I used to, confer with other NGO directors, that we're very unusual in that we are crowdfunded. Most NGOs have a very active board who are the main donors. They have 5 or 6 donors, or they have corporate donors, or they depend on government grants like USAID or local government grants. We've never done that. We have always been supported by the people, individuals. And as Luke was saying earlier, right now it's 202 monthly sponsors that donate between, I think the smallest is like $5 or $6 a month, all the way up to
206, and we will have replaced all the sponsors that we.
Oh, that's right. That's up today. 206. Okay.
206. Hopefully, this outreach maybe touches some hearts, and we can get closer to that.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing here this evening. That's why we've come together. I mean, we're asking for help from the people in the audience. We don't need everybody to do it. We just need a couple people to step forward and say that they're willing to be a monthly sponsor, like myself, like Luke, like many of us already are here. So we're looking for four people. So if you're in a position where maybe you can spare 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks a month, or even just as little as 5,
or a million,
or $1 million. If you got $1 million on hand, just toss it in.
I don't know if we accept that much in our system. I think that
would be
we can have to do some.
We can. Great. So we got
but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
okay.
so guys, if you're watching this, and if this calls to you, the link is below. You're meeting Mick, who with his wife are, they are on the ground making it happen, taking care of these kids, being for these kids, who we hope every child has in their life, someone who is dedicated to loving them, showing up for them, making sure they're well nourished and educated and protected. And, I know you guys, having met you guys and having heard about, some of the cases that you're handling, I really hear that you're dealing with a lot of different families, a lot of different scenarios, and the consistent thing is that you're providing the kids with safety, you're providing the kids with nutrition. Can you speak a little bit about the nutritional needs of these kids?
Well, we did a study back in 2017, so the winter break, because school here ends in October and starts up again in January. That's kind of the summer break here. And we weighed each one of the kids. And then they went home for their summer break, and then they came back. And on average, now this is on average in kids ranging from 4 years to 13 years old, they lost on average 7 pounds each. 7 pounds in 3 months.
Kids should never.
So now what we?
Yeah.
No, they should be gaining weight.
Losing weight.
So we had no idea. We had no idea it was that dramatic. And now we don't end school until the 15th of December, and they're back with us on January, on a normal year, like the middle third week of January, because we try to shorten that window. That's the first thing that we do when they come to the school. They get breakfast or lunch, depending on what time they arrive. We also sponsor our sponsored families we give them also a food basket. And it's basic, but it's definitely saves them a lot of money because a lot of these people they don't have formal work. They're working in the fields. They're picking coffee. They're working at mills. So it's very informal work. So and something else I just wanted to add on what you said, Erica. We also give them a safe place. You mentioned that, but the safe place in the form of love. Now let me explain this. When a kid comes into our school, the doors are closed and they know in that space they are safe. And we actually ended up changing our name, not formally, but very informally, and everywhere you'll see in our information. We changed it from the Integral Heart Foundation to the Integral Heart Family, same acronym, IHF, because that's what started happening at the school. One of our plans was to remove myself and Deborah now work full-time in fundraising and operations and direction, curriculum development, and high-level stuff for the school. But the school is run by all Guatemalans, so it's Guatemalans helping Guatemalans. And when we made that switch, it took a long time. It took almost 3 years to move ourselves out of the day-to-day operations. That's what we noticed started happening. You walk in there and it's like a playground. The kids are happy. The kids are safe. The kids are making friends with other little guys that they wouldn't even know, and they can sit around, play ball. You can see the photographs on our page because it's 100% safe in there. 100% safe. It's just not something that exists where they live. It's just not something that exists from, there are threats from other children, from, scary, weird family members and all sorts of stuff that goes on in these neighborhoods, unfortunately. But I just wanted to say that. So it's a safe and loving place, the Integral Heart School.
Something that we've been talking about here in this community is that, one of the best things that we can do for each other is to give each other the safety to be who we really are, And that can look like a lot of different things, but I think that's such a core human right, and I think that's also really sets the stage for us to blossom, into the fullness of who we really are, and I think that combined with the education, that combined with the food, it's really just such a beautiful package that you're providing these kids. So guys, if you if you like this message, come join us. Come be a part of the family. It's not just the family is not just the families that are involved. It's the teachers. It's Mick and Deborah and Luke and myself and so many of you guys already on this channel. The ones who've shown up for the charities and those maybe who are new and hearing this for the first time. If you have been longing in your heart for that way to really give back, this could be it. This could be the message that you were waiting for. Here it is,
I don't think at the end of our life we're ever gonna look back and be like, I wish I had sponsored less children to break out of generational poverty and get
I wish I worked more.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. We don't notice. Even those of us that are, I've been a pretty frugal and mostly broke writer most of my life, but I've always given back, especially when I had very little. That seemed like the best time to give because for the reasons it did. So how we position ourselves in this world matters. How we spend our dollars matter. And I know a lot of you do a lot of good things. It's amazing. So if you're already, spread too thin, we, recognize that and don't get codependent with the fact that we're asking for help and feel like you need to help.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that.
If you know in your heart that you could do this and can make the difference, don't shy away from that either. See what that feels like to enact on that desire instead of kind of sweeping it under the table until next time or next week or next year. Hey, it's Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. Hi.
Deborah is here.
Is Mick late for dinner? We're keeping him.
No.
This is the other founder of the organization, Mick's wife, Deborah. So lovely to see you again.
I was actually preparing the food for the dog we just rescued.
Oh yeah, for Sheila.
Oh, and Len, I would love to hear, you guys are not just working with children, but you're also working with dogs. Can you speak a little bit about what you guys are doing? I know so many people here on this channel just love dogs so much.
Didn't have much choice in this one. She appeared at our door, and we thought she was dying, and so we had to get her in and recover her. And but it's a lot of work, but we didn't have much choice.
Yeah,
And yes,
yeah.
we do that in the school. We do like every month or every other month. We do a spaying clinic in there.
Spay and neutering clinic. Yeah.
And then we help a lot of like we rescue like dogs that were in the street about having puppies, and so we kept them in and then gave away all. It's a lot of work, and it's not supposed to be what we're doing, but we can't help it.
Well, it's been kind of interesting actually because Marisol and who's our director of the school who started we met her through Luke's organization. She's also an animal lover. Like we have 2 dogs, 2 of the 3 that we have here in our house. She rescued them back in 2014, and so she's got a huge heart for animals. And it's something that it happened it happened by accident.
Yeah.
There was 1, and then there was 2, and then there was 7. And I would say, I'd say our head count on animals, and I'm going to say animals because most of them are dogs. I would say we're up to probably over 500 dogs.
And possums and
rescues,
cats and bears.
There's been cats, there's been birds. We're up to our 3rd horse right now.
Yeah, horses.
I want to.
Possums.
Erica wants on a horse.
No, I'm my inner child just burst out.
Yeah, give her a horse. That's what she does.
Yeah, there's a horse rescue NGO that's based in Antigua, and we're friends with the owner. And there was a horse running around in our neighborhood here with a broken leg, and we called her, and she shows up. She's a Texan, and she showed up in this massive, like, huge Chevy pickup truck with like all these guys, and they're like, we're driving around the neighborhoods here. They're following me because I know the neighborhood where we live. And they found the horse, and they put a tether on her and got her into the truck, and now she lives up in Pacaya. I mean, it's amazing the amount of work that we're doing. And as part of, I know,
in this organization.
it's part of we do have this 5-year plan to eventually
We're 3
build
years into that plan, by the way, Mick.
We're through 2.5. to build our own space. We're currently renting a location in Antigua. We would love to build our own space on our own piece of land and fully integrate this dog rescue. So the model will be 1 child, 1 animal, dog or cat, so that these kids can learn the idea of. There's Zoe. Can you see Zoe? Our little Dachshund. So we can integrate that like more fully into our work, and I think that would be absolutely lovely to have 65 kids and then 65 corresponding animals running around, or animals that are coming in, being rescued, being neutered and spayed, and then being sent on to a home where they also can feel safe and secure and loved like the kids.
That is
so
amazing.
Again,
I love this idea of pairing a dog with a child. And you're teaching them like love. It's like responsibility. Like it just
responsibility. Yes,
yeah. For healing, that's really going to ripple out in so many powerful ways. So guys, you're getting a sense of the kind of people that we're working with here. Mick and Deborah are good people who are doing good work, and I'm proud to be associated with you guys. I'm so proud to be a part of this Integral Heart family, and I'm really proud to bring this opportunity in this doorway to you guys to walk through it if it calls to you, and come be a part, come support these like beautiful souls and the work they're doing with children, with horses, with dogs, with cats, with rabbits. You have the full spectrum of beings that you're serving, and it's so beautiful. I think there's so many different ways that we can help in the world, and sometimes we're not really, it can be a situation where we're not really sure if what we're doing is actually helping. And I really just get a sense when I work with you guys and when I help out with you guys that, what I'm doing is really being put to good use to really directly impact the people that you're serving, the creatures, the beings, the lives that you're serving. And it's just something that I feel really good about, and I feel really good about offering this opportunity to my audience, or to this community of people who choose to follow me and follow the things that I'm sharing and saying and learning and offering to you guys. So this is something I offer from my heart.
We really appreciate you, Erica, as much as you've
You both, guys.
You both.
You're
yeah.
gold. Part of the family, so
No, you're part.
sorry, whether you like it or not, you're part of the family.
You're part of the
Oh, I like
family.
it. I like
He
it.
likes it.
It feels good to belong, and I think that's what's cool about this thing that we can all do together. Is we can belong to something so great together. We can belong to a family. You know, I feel like there's so many people in the world today who feel lost or in the darkness, or they don't necessarily know where they're meant to be, or how they're meant to be, or who they're meant to be. And I just feel like this opportunity is just, it's a window, it's a seed, it's a gift for us to be a part of something together, and just really make a difference together, even if it's just as small. It's like we're each like a drop in a bucket, but together we're forming an ocean of possibility, an ocean of service, an ocean of compassion, and just like beautiful serving our fellow creatures, and really like loving our neighbors. You know, I love that message, love your neighbor. You know, that doesn't just mean the person living in the house next to you. That means like the child in the country next to yours. You know, that's what it means to love your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay. Well, guys, I think you have you've heard our message. If it calls to you, please click on the link. Come back to the link. It's on this video. And if you have any questions, what's the best way? Oh,
Nope,
we lost him. We lost him. Okay. Well, guys, if you're still watching, go enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the video and sharing some time with us this evening. Is there any final thing you want to add to this?
Yeah, just to thank you guys for listening, to this message. Whether or not it's the right time for you, it's definitely the right time for us to ask for this help, because we always work very hard to do this sort of outreach when we've lost some sponsors. So, the ones we've lost, their situations change such that they had to scale back, and I think
That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. You're not committing for life. You're committing for as long as you can do this, and we're asking for your help today in order to get us to where we started the year with the number of sponsors that we had.
Jody Jensen Brown says just signed up to contribute monthly.
Woo!
Thank you. Yay, Jody. Woo! And we lost
even if it's just that one, that is amazing. That's amazing.
Love you guys. It turns out the sound is no longer working on this video, but thankfully it is on Luke's. It's all right. We're going to wrap up anyway. So, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your heart. Thank you for loving and for caring and for being willing to come together. We're in this together, and we love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping the kids. Thank you for being a part of the family.
Opening the door to your world. Thank you.
All right, guys. Love you. Have a beautiful evening. I love you so much, even if you can't hear me. All right, bye, guys.
Thanks,
Click on the link below.
Hope to meet you this year. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Jane, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Stella.
And Kim, if it's not the right time for you, it's not the right time for you. So don't ever feel pressured to give. Feel empowered if you can when you can.
Okay. Okay. Bye, guys. I love you.